All right, here we are back on a Wednesday night, late night podcast, Lawn Sporter. Judge Dan Jacobs is in. No Justin Watkins tonight. Adam Hill will be along in a little bit. Not sure what he's up to, but got a couple stories we're going to hit with him. Little AFC West talk tonight. I always like to talk to the guys who are amazingly negative on their hometown teams. So we'll see where Adam is tonight after the Ravens win. We'll see where Dan is. I think Dan was harder in the preseason on the Broncos than Adam was on the Raiders, but Denver wins AFC West is awesome. Everyone freaking wins. So we'll get to that in a couple minutes. Legal story to hit right out of the gates. We always love this copycat stuff. When a celebrity gets nailed stealing something from someone creative on the internet, and Michael Che, however you say his name, from SNL, I guess he had some kind of bit he did. What is it? Homegirl. On HBO Max. That damn Michael Che 6th episode of the comedy series included 4 segments about a fictional service where people could order a home girl. And as it turns out, there was a girl who was doing, I guess, a similar bit, August 2020. TMZ says racked up a couple 100,000 views on TikTok, 500,000 on a second video in September 2020. It's titled Homegirl Hotline. Seems kind of similar. So what's going on here? Is he in trouble for stealing someone else's material?
Well, probably not unless she actually filed something to protect it, would be my guess. Justin would know. This is like right up Justin's nerd alley, right? Like he knows all the ins and outs of the alley. Copyright stuff. Probably not. Like comics rip each other off all the time. The crazy thing is, so my old radio partner, and I do mean old because he's like your age, Steve. His name was
Radio.
Yeah, well, he's out now because he got married, and his wife, drug him away to the woods of Maine. But his name was Reno Notaro. His sister is Tig Notaro.
Okay.
Now she was discovered by Louis C.K., right?
Yeah.
He discovered her doing this bit on cancer, and she blew up because of Louis C.K. Like he promoted her. He was the executive producer on her album. Well, she had a bit, she had something to do with this clown, like this depressing clown type thing. It was kind of a really funny bit, right? Well, he's hosting a few years back Saturday Night Live. He's doing the bit. So I come in the next day or the next Monday, and I go,
Louis C.K. did the bit?
He did the bit on Saturday Night Live. And I said, oh, he did Tig's bit. And everybody assumed, because he was her executive producer, that he had her permission to do her bit. And my partner was like, no, he just completely ripped off her bit. No permission, no nothing, completely stole her bit. And then they got into a beef. And then that's when all the stuff came out. He sexually harassed her and a bunch of people, and his career completely imploded right there on the spot. And he really, and I think just now recently, I think it just came out like in the last month or two, he's trying to make a comeback now. And it's like, don't know if that's going to work for you, son. But to answer the legal part of the question, it's not illegal. If you haven't protected your works, it's not really illegal. Now, you also have to prove, well, how similar is it? You use the words, well, it seems kind of similar. Well, you can parse things. Well, it might be somewhat similar. Is it different enough that you can make the arguments? Well, maybe there was some inspiration, maybe there wasn't. Like the Chuck Wepner and Rocky thing, right? Like Chuck Wepner tried to sue Stallone, and Stallone said, well, he inspired me, but Chuck Wepner is not Rocky. Rocky is, the inspiration in my mind, a character I created, after watching a fight. But he's not Chuck Wepner. Chuck Wepner's Chuck Wepner.
That was kind of tough because, any kind of gritty underdog boxer from the streets who, potentially pulled off an upset had a great fight. I mean, there's dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of examples like that in a particular fight.
Right. Did she
copyright it? And if I'm correct, I think Chuck Wepner might have been the Bayonne bleeder. So.
Correct. He was. Absolutely. Right.
I have some memory left. A little bit.
Well, you're from New Jersey. You would think you would know that.
Well, I guess.
They just made like 2 movies about it, dude. What are you talking about? Like, what's his name? Rafe. Who's the guy?
Rafe LaFrance, the basketball player. What are you talking about?
No. Leif, the guy. There's a guy now that's famous that just played him in a movie.
Oh, really?
They did 2 movies on Chuck Wepner recently.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is a good question. You stole it right from me. I'm claiming this one. Andrew says, so if you haven't protected, but you can prove you're the original, can you win anything? So how would you advise, or what would you advise people who are doing really creative stuff, this kind of stuff, next level stuff, characters and bits up on TikTok? What should they do to protect their material?
File trademarks, file copyrights.
Really?
Yeah.
And that is how hard?
I don't think that stuff's very hard. Again, this is more up Justin's alley. Actually, I'm kind of in a similar thing with the reality show I'm working on. I'm like, I gotta do that this week. I gotta copyright, the title of it and stuff like that. So,
are you afraid to mention the theme because someone might steal it here?
Well, I just got to get around to doing it.
Yeah, you already mentioned it on the podcast like 15
times.
Well,
no, but actually somebody else came up with it. A listener came up with it, and yeah, like we have to. He's always like, well, if you hit big, I'm like, yeah, we'll have to take care of you. We'll have to do whatever.
If the
name of it, just the name of
it. If I steal it and then put the moniker on someone in this market, are you gonna be mad?
I will destroy you.
I will destroy you. I am a judge. I'm an attorney. You already admitted that you're going to steal it from me. Now I'm screwed. So
remember the judges poker game in Rounders?
Yes, of course.
Remember what they would do to people that crossed them? Watch out, Cofield.
I didn't know what you were talking about here. Liev Schreiber.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Ray Donovan. I didn't realize he played Chuck Wepner. I'll have to watch that film, the film Chuck.
Yeah, man. How many famous movies are there about from famous people from New Jersey? Steve, aren't you from New Jersey?
Oh, tons. Everyone's from New Jersey.
Yeah, right. There's like Tony Soprano and Chuck Wepner. That's it.
Okay.
And you're like number 3 on the list.
No, I'm not number 3.
You and Ryan Williams from Sports Fan.
It's the state. He's actually from. He's not from New Jersey. He's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, he just went to Rutgers.
Yeah. A state that is rich in talent and super populated, so you're going to get some people. Yeah, there you go. Plus money, honey. Do not splash the pot.
That's right.
Do not splash the pot. Allie, did I steal this from you? I think this is one of my originals. I think it's one of my originals. I mean, it's actually my house. I'm in my my mountain house right now. The edge of the valley. It's out by Mount Charleston. It's lovely. Oh, is this real or is this coming? Jersey Shore the musical. I would love that. Be so good. I know, Alex. We don't have to give the laundry list. Obviously, you're smart. Come on, Sinatra. Let's get it together, please. No, Yankee Cave's another part of the estate. Yankee Cave can come back anytime. I could move into the Yankee Cave in a couple of minutes. All right, Dan. So I wanted to ask you. I saw James Palmer as an NFL insider was describing. Let me see if I can find the audio. But he was describing the latest with Deshaun Watson and the Texans, and the whole situation seems incredibly bizarre to me. Like the kind of story where if I belong to a union, maybe the union should have my back.
Well, have you heard anything to suggest?
I lost half my room.
What is that?
Oh, it's
the cat.
It's my railing and banister.
What's causing that? Is like
goddamn push pin.
What is it? Oh, the push pin. Oh, you got the screen.
The green screen fell apart.
Well, have we seen anything to suggest that Deshaun Watson wants to play?
That's a good question. I mean, he's going through some of the organizational norms. Let me see if I can load this up. Let me see if I can play this for you. This is James Palmer. He's explaining it at the beginning of the week, like how weird the situation is with Deshaun Watson being around the Texans, but not really allowed to be around when it matters the most. God damn it, it's not going to play on game day. I mean, I think he wants to play eventually. I don't think he wants to play for the Texans, but how can the guy be active? I mean, he's getting paid, so I guess he's not going to complain, but shouldn't the NFLPA step in and go, hey, there's got to be some resolution here, and if there isn't, then he's got to be allowed to play.
He doesn't want to play.
He doesn't want to play for the Texans. There's my sound.
Right. But Steve, he doesn't want to play for the Texans right now. So
then trade him.
But they don't want to trade him right now. They can't. The NFLPA can't force the Texans to trade him. What you're saying is he should be allowed to play. He's allowed to play, but he doesn't want to play right now. And the Texans are like, we're fine, cool. We're not gonna force you to play, right? So what's the resolution? It's a weird twilight zone. The NFL's not saying, well, we're going to make you go on the exempt list. Fine, you guys work it out amongst yourselves. This is a weird deal. We're not stepping in until our hand is forced. You guys work it out. And Deshaun Watson's like, I don't want to run out there and be put in a bad situation out on the field. So I'll just hang tight. I'll cash my checks. Lord knows I need him to pay Rusty Harden, right? And they got to work this thing out. He needs to make these cases go away is what needs to happen. He needs to make the cases go away.
As wide receiver Brandon Cooks told me, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He sees things other quarterbacks don't see. So conversations between him and starting quarterback Tyrod Taylor do happen, and it's probably beneficial to the Houston Texans. So he is a part of the team in that instance, but he's also not a part of the team in other instances where he does not practice with the team. It is not injury related. He was not at their preseason games, didn't travel with the team, was not at the game on Sunday.
I mean, weird, right?
Of course it's weird. You know what else is weird? Calling up 58 masseuses off Craigslist or Instagram and saying, doing whatever he did. That's weird.
He has not been charged.
That doesn't mean it's not weird.
Well, it doesn't mean that he's pushed out of the league or freaking benched forever.
What do you mean? He was demanding a trade.
It's very weird. Let me
you reap what you sow, Steve. That's all I can say, man. It's the whole thing is weird.
The organization, they all said the same thing. He has not been a distraction. They have not been distracted by it. And I think you could see by the way things went in their first game, that's an accurate assessment. So he's a part of this team taking up a roster spot, but at the same time, he's actually kind of not a part of the team. It's a bit awkward.
It's a bit awkward. Thank you, James. You think?
Yeah. You know what else is awkward?
We don't have to reference the man just looking for a little bit of a, little relief, little release. There's nothing. We're not going to get on him about that. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. Question from the gallery before it disappears. Can we expect Tate Martell to start for our Rebels on Saturday? I do not expect him to start, but I'll say for the first time that he could play. I don't know.
What's the end game for Tate Martell? I'm a Miami guy. I don't know what's up with this kid. Like he quit on Miami. He was out of football. I changed my mind. I'm coming back to the team. I mean, what's the story with him there?
Unlike Deshaun Watson, he actually wants to play for UNLV. I think he's trying to get himself into the mix. I asked on the coaches show tonight because I was on the Marcus Arroyo radio show a little earlier. We talked about the quarterback situation because their starter is he's hurt. He's day to day. I don't think he's 100% by Saturday. That's just my guess. I'm not a doctor. Arroyo said if he's not 100%, then there's a good chance that he won't play. They're not going to put him at risk for the long run. So what I saw at practice today was the backup plan, which was 3 different guys were taking a lot of reps. So Justin Rogers and a true freshman named Cameron Friel, and then Tate Martell. I think at a minimum, Tate Martell will get some looks because of his running skills.
So when he's healthy,
I have no idea. And I will say one interesting thing he did answer. I asked him, hey, who's got a bigger uphill climb, more challenging task in front of them? The true freshman who's been here actually since the spring, or Martell who's been here 7 weeks? And without hesitation, he's like, Tate. I mean, it's like there's so much to learn when you're a quarterback. You can feel like you can handle the pressure. And he said Tate's been there. He's been in some big spots. So he shouldn't be intimidated by the stadium and the crowd, and there'll be a really good crowd for UNLV games on Saturday. But, he said, Tate's behind it because he's only been here 7 weeks.
So he's not just going to when he gets 100% healthy, they're not going to be like, oh, my God, thanks, the Savior's here. No. You're our guy for the final 7 weeks.
No. Well, I mean, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, so much is up in the air because the redshirt freshman quarterback, who's their best quarterback right now, got hurt, pretty severely on Saturday. So, I mean, they like him. They're trying to develop him. But, yeah, dude, who knows? I mean, we've already seen how many college football programs, it's a mess at quarterback. I mean, Washington right now, there's actually a kid from, Colorado State who was at Nebraska before that, Patrick O'Brien. He transferred to Washington. Like, I think he's going to play eventually. He's not the guy of the future, but if they need him now, they're going to play him. I know BC's quarterback is out for the year. It's a mess. So if UNLV's starting quarterback is down for a while, then all bets are off. I don't know who's going to play. I mean, I think Tate Martell has a good chance because in the end, the big advantage he has, and Brumfield has this too, is the ability to run makes freaking such a huge difference. It just does in college football. If you can throw a little bit. I will say, again, I'm not a throwing expert. And he may be still dealing with a thumb injury. Based on the way he throws the ball, I kind of look back on when he was a top 10 prospect, and I kind of wonder how he was a top 10 prospect. So, to me, he doesn't appear to throw the cleanest ball. Now he's a playmaker, so that can close the gap. And I'll give him a break. His thumb, he did have surgery on his thumb, so maybe he's probably not going to be 100% until next year. So,
but it won't matter.
Well, he has another year, so
how does he have another year?
He's actually got 2 years somehow. Yep, I know.
That's crazy.
And then they've got
to go to school for 8 years. They're called doctors.
They've got another Hawaiian kid who's their top quarterback commit this year. And I mean, like I said, the quarterback position is so screwy in college football. In a given year, you can wind up having to play 2 or 3 guys, and then once the year's over, I don't know who's going to stay, who's going to go, who can be plucked off the roster. Who knows? So the end game, I think this is the end. I mean, this is his final chance, and I think he's actually.
Well, I didn't realize he had another year. That's
yeah,
mind-boggling to me. Well, if he has another year, then that makes sense. He's going to come home, and he'll be the starter next year, I would imagine.
Maybe it depends on what he does. I mean, some people are game day guys too. They're not the best practice guys, but they're electric on game day. So I'm rooting for him, not against anyone else, because I think Brumfield can be really good. I would love to see Tate Martell bounce back and actually be a contributor and lead UNLV to some victories. I think it would be a freaking really cool story.
Yeah.
Don't be all bitter.
Ooh, I don't care. He started Ohio State, man. He came to Miami. He meant nothing in Miami. It was just a weird story. That's all. If he goes home, great. I have nothing against the kid. It's fine.
Yeah, I would assume Iowa State's going to come in pretty angry, losing to a rival, having their dream of a national championship potentially killed unless they go on a run and win out in the Big 12. This is interesting. So I don't know if you saw the link I sent you on the policy of the Raiders versus the policy of the Golden Knights. So the Raiders are fully vaxxed. You can't come to the games if you're not vaxxed. You can get the first shot at the game, and then you have to wear a mask, and you'll also wear like a yellow wristband so they can ID you, so that they see, everyone else is unmasked. So VGK is going with, doesn't matter what you have, you can get in, but everyone in the arena is masked, which is challenging. That's what UNLV is doing, because then it's up to the ushers to try to police the situation. And then there's the whole drink and food thing, which I was joking about on the air today. Like, if I had to buy freaking 20 beers and have a beer in front of me for every minute of the game, I would be unmasked. So what are the Avs doing?
I looked it up just before here. It just looks like they're saying you have a mask on the whole time, which probably is the same thing as you're talking about. Oh, well, I'm drinking my beer right now.
So Mayer says when he went into the Raiders game, you are scanned. You're supposed to show him a card. He said nobody at Allegiant scanned or even looked at our Clear app to verify vax status at the Raiders game. He follows it up by saying, does the stadium have any liability? I think you mean the stadium, not the airline. Does the stadium have any liability if they don't check properly? I think maybe that's what he meant to ask. I would assume it would be the Raiders who might have some liability. So what's the deal on this?
What do you mean by liability? Like if COVID spreads? Yeah. Let me think it through. I would say No, you're assuming the risk. I trying to think back to what Justin's stance on this was. I would say no, there's probably a pretty good assumption of risk here, although most people are saying the risk I assumed was that everybody would be vaccinated. The Raiders advertised that everybody there was vaccinated, and that you guys put policies in place to make sure. And then what actually happened was you didn't enforce those policies, and that it just turned out to be a free for all. So if it really turned out to be, but a bunch of unvaccinated people got loose and spread it like crazy, maybe now who gets it, right? Now, if you were an unvaccinated person that got in there and got COVID and died, I don't think you would have much of a claim at all, to be honest with you. If you're vaccinated, got in there and got, to be honest with you, I mean, we could go through all these wild, really harebrained scenarios in which you may have contracted COVID. It really would have to go through, you really have to go off the deep end to find some liability. I just don't, I'd really have to stretch to find it. Now, I think really the problem is, for example, one of my buddies, with these new ticket, you have the lowest paid people in the room being responsible for these policies, right? Like my buddy now, he says with these mobile tickets, right? One of my buddies for the Bucks does the tickets, right? I don't care. He just lets people in, man. He just lets them in. Like, for example, the Miami Alabama game, we paid $250 a seat. Well, for one of the guys, he didn't even do the ticket transfer, yet he's sitting down there in the seat. And I'm like, well, how the hell did he get to the seat? He says, oh, we got in with his buddies. So I still made him pay me back for the ticket, but I mean, that's the way things are rolling now with all this digital stuff. So yeah, right now it sounds good in practice that they're like, this is our policy. But when you have minimum wage people that may or may not care, whether the policy is enforced, and they don't want to get yelled at, they don't want to run into some drunk Raider fan who's going to take their head off if, hey, you're not vaccinated. Yeah, so what? What are you going to do about it?
Right.
You're not going to let me in. I paid all this money for these states. Oh, crap. Go ahead.
So in the end, do we all agree that the best policy, I mean, I understand trying to coerce or convince people to get vaccinated. They were trying to build this up at the Raiders game. Like, look at how many people got the first shot. It was 287 got the shot. Like, I mean, I guess it's like minute progress.
Well, hold on though. But if that many people got the shot,
right,
isn't that some evidence that they stopped some people and said, hey, you can't come in? And then they must have been checking some people. They weren't checking, Mr. or I don't know how to say, the person's name down there, but they were checking some people, because at least almost 300 people, they stopped and said, you want to come in, you're getting the shot.
Adam, what'd you hear?
I didn't hear much. I went down and kind of checked out the gates a little bit, just to see what was going on. Because I was there, 6 hours before the game, so nobody was getting in when I was first going in. But every once in a while, I'd go back down to the front gate and try to check it out. It seemed like everybody had to show their app. It was a process to get in. I know that. So it's kind of tricky when everything's digital and you got to go from your Clear app. I wish there was some sort of integration. I know that's probably hard to do, but if you tie your ticket to the Clear app and then you can only show once instead of having to show the Clear app and then also go scroll and then find your ticket in another window. Maybe that's like the next step, or maybe there is something. But yeah, I think that would be good. But for everybody to try to scroll through two different things when everybody's trying to be on the same service and the same Wi-Fi is pretty difficult. But it seemed like it was going pretty well. And I know a lot of people that I talked to, and I kind of crowdsourced a little bit on social media, scrolling through the Raiders PSL group on Facebook to try to see what they had to say. And most people said they showed it, wasn't an issue, they got through, and they were pretty comfortable and safe being in there, knowing that everybody else was vaxxed. Now, the problem is, I don't know that it's a great idea for that many vaccinated people to be in there at the same time right now, but it's something. It's progress toward getting there. And if you want to go, you have to show it. And I think that's good. There's another one this weekend. The biggest festival in Las Vegas every year is here this weekend. And there's a vaccination policy. I'm interested to see how they police that. That's going to be tough.
I wanted to bring this up for the UNLV game this weekend against Iowa State. UNLV kind of snuck this out in the afternoon. We'll talk more about it on Thursday and Friday on the show, but they are offering $10 parking. Because right now, Dan, I don't know if you know it, but the Raiders control the parking. And even for UNLV games where there might be 25,000 people and your ticket may cost $35 to $60, parking anywhere near the stadium is $75 to $100 for people buying $60 tickets. So,
well, I remember we were discussing that when I was out there. For the night series in June, you were out there doing some covert operations, and they hadn't worked it out yet, right? And
no.
We were curious as to how it was going to work. So how did it work?
Well, I mean, when they announced the prices, it's anything close to the stadium is $90 to $100. Right across the way at Mandalay and Luxor, the prices can be $75 to $100. But for Raiders ticket holders, if they're paying hundreds of dollars, I guess you want to stick it to them. That's one thing. But you're trying to get UNLV fans and other locals who don't go to the Raiders games in. I mean, you can't. You sell them a $65 ticket, and then to park near the stadium, it's $90. So it's kind of crazy. So what they've worked out here is you can park across from the Luxor, which I may have to drive down there tonight. The Luxor Lot East. Is that not the grounds, Adam?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm like, wait, what? Everyone's going to be cool with that? I mean, I'm fine with it, but $10 parking is kind of cool. I hope it actually draws, a few more 100 or 1,000 people on the UNLV side to actually come out to the game. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there was definitely more budget, quote unquote, lots for UNLV than there was for the Raiders. I was walking around.
Oh, yeah?
For the Rebel game, I thought they were like $25, $30.
Were they further back? Like they're further back towards Valley View?
A little, Valley View and Eastern around there, like on the other side of or Eastern of Russell.
Imagine.
The other
Valley View and Eastern don't cross, but imagine
the other side of Russell on Valley View.
That is the $10 parking. It's over on Eastern. You got to drop in Eastern, you can walk over. I've
also heard, listen, I saw people talking about
some
of the remote parking, which was great.
Oh yeah. I love this one. I parked at Showcase Mall for 45-minute walk. I mean, there's stuff around when you're walking.
Yeah, well, you just go straight. You go behind it and go straight down Dean Martin. I would imagine. Is there not a bus on Dean Martin?
Which one? Showcase Mall? Isn't the one? Isn't it one?
That's Trop. That's Trop.
Yeah.
I was thinking fast.
Right. It's right there by the MGM. No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Hey, I don't know if this is right. Crazy Horse is charging 60.
No, what I heard 600.
Yeah.
600.
Well, we were talking. Actually, the promotion there is 600, but you get access before and after, and I think you get at least one bottle. So you get bottle service with it. You get like VIP table and all that. So.
Yeah, I think it's 600, not 60 there, but
yeah. Will they implement a tram like Disneyland? Probably not.
Well, they could if you go Showcase. So I was actually, we were breaking it down of how to go. If you say you go in from Showcase, what you do is you'd cross over the Trot Bridge both directions to get to Excalibur, and then take the tram to Mandalay Bay. And then you would just take me to walk from Mandalay Bay. I think that would be the best way to go. Somebody else had said, "What about you park at the West Gate? Take the monorail from the West Gate to MGM, cross over to Excalibur, then take the tram to Mandalay Bay, and walk from there." I think that's it doesn't take that long.
No,
it's a much more affordable option, I would say.
All right. Mayor Vegas says it wasn't that bad, so interesting.
And I will stress again, I know I said this, if you're actually going to a lot near the stadium, come from the west side. Don't go down 15. Don't go down 15 either way. Don't try to cross the strip. Come from the west side. And
I
ideally,
agree.
yes, CJ, yes, have somebody drop you off. That's the
Adam,
best of the best.
are you going to cover the game on Saturday?
That's the plan for right now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What does that mean?
There's 2 huge shows on Saturday night.
Hmm.
I'm trying to decide if I'm going to one of those or if I'm going to Iowa State.
Boy, Mayor's got all these updates. I don't know if these are all confirmed. Are they running the RTC bus from Green Valley or Red Rock for? You're talking about the Raiders games or UNLV? Because I agree, for the Raiders games, it's an awesome option. I think UNLV, especially for a game like this where you could have 35, 40,000 people, and if you want more locals to get down there, I think at a minimum they should be offering that RTC bus down to the stadium from, say, Green Valley Ranch and Red Rock. You know,
So I definitely saw people very happy with it for the Raiders game. So,
oh, it's awesome. I told you I did multiple games for the Golden Knights, and like freaking $2 each way. I think it was $2 each way. It's great. They run a lot of buses. You don't have to leave like 5 minutes after the game. It's cool.
When I was down there for the Golden Knights, I took an Uber from like the Luxor the first night. And it was the night there was that jumper. Took forever. It was expensive. And then I walked back. I'm like, what a moron you are. Like, it's like 10 minutes. Why am I taking an Uber?
Right.
And it was cool because you walk through, there was like shops and that Italian meat market thing. And, it was the dumbest thing ever, man. Like, why am I taking an Uber?
Italy. By the way,
yeah, Italy.
You just mentioned something there that I don't think anybody knows.
What?
You mentioned the jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not allowed to report on that. Nobody reported on it. Nobody knows why there was that huge traffic jam that night.
You heard it here first. Jan Jacobs live.
I have photos.
And we talked about it. I think we talked about it on both the radio side and podcast side.
Okay. I mean, I know we weren't. I was literally underneath the guy that was out on the overpass. I was stuck there, and I have photos of him.
Why are you not allowed to report it? You work for a newspaper. What the hell's going on?
I know we don't. Suicide threats we don't report because there's a good chance. There's a good chance. Well, copycats, and there's a good chance it's just for attention.
You don't negotiate with terrorists?
No. We never report suicides or suicide threats.
Willie, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, Twitter, sure, but the actual media outlets did not talk about it.
Yes, that was the night Adam showed up all late, making all sorts of demands and everything.
Making all sorts of demands. I wanted my.
Where's my dinner? Get out of my chair.
First of all, I don't really eat there because.
Get over here now.
Almost all carbs I don't eat at the VGK game.
Yes.
Yeah, but I was stuck underneath there for almost 2 hours, which was insane. Yeah, the club's level at club levels at Allegiant, dear God, they're awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
I got club tickets to give away, and I wound up giving to someone I kind of like, but like it wouldn't be my first choice. And then I heard they had like the time of their lives. I was like, son of a bitch, I gotta find someone I like a little more.
Well, I might need him next week if I don't get that credential, Steve. Just so you know.
Super Dave, yeah, sure. Coming out of retirement. Why not? Jump on the 15.
Brady wants the club level tickets.
Brady Ari's got connections too, so he'll work on it for you.
He needs to work on them for me. I just said.
Well, Steve's talking UNLV game, not Raiders game, right?
Oh.
Raiders is probably more of a long shot right now.
Yeah.
Those won't be available every game. I think the UNLV tickets I could probably get for every game. We'll see. Yeah, Brady says, I'm sure Ari wants to do me a solid. Well, your relationship it's on the mend. It's on the mend. All right. So I got to hear from both of you guys. What's going on here? Adam talked about it a little bit today. What exactly, Dan, do you know what's going on with Urban Meyer versus the Denver media?
Well, Amy Platts, I don't know how you say her last name. She's trying to fall on the grenade, saying, "Oh, it's on me," but everybody needs something to be outraged about. She's trying to claim, maybe Adam would know more than me. The majority of teams, most teams don't even do these things anymore, which I'm I'm calling BS on unless Adam tells me something different.
Sure.
Obviously, the Giants must have done it week 1 because there was no uproar in the Denver media that the Giants coach didn't do it. All of a sudden, Urban Meyer. I mean, these Adam knows what these conference calls are like. They're around a speakerphone. They're generally, we have a kind of a Weisenheimer from our station that every once in a while with Bill Belichick will, he'll go at Bill Belichick, try and get him to do something. We went after Harbaugh when Harbaugh was coach of the Niners. He went after Harbaugh about Parrish, I think it was Parrish Cox, because he had some legal troubles. Outside of every once in a while, they're very uneventful. They're not controversial at all. There's no reason to cancel one of these things or to refuse to make your coach available. What I don't know is if Urban Meyer was available for week 1 or not. I hadn't heard any reporting on that. Maybe Adam knows. But these are very uneventful things. They take 10 minutes. So I don't know if, Meyer's already cracking under the pressure and he didn't want to answer questions about USC. That would be my guess. But this is silly. It's bad PR to have, this type of thing blowing up already. And by the way, like Ryan O'Halloran and Mike Kliss, to have guys like that, these are the most vanilla milquetoast guys in the world. They're beat writers. They don't want to be controversial. They don't want to be causing a stir. They don't want to be out there front and center as, causing a dust up, right? So when those guys are out there causing a problem, especially with I call them the John Elway suck up Denver media. Okay. They're about as vanilla Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as it gets. They're suck ups. Okay. If they're out there killing you, you got a problem. So that's telling you something, especially the beat writers. So it's a bad look.
That's not true, Brady. I'm not like that. So this is a really weird situation. So as Dan was referring to at the beginning, these conference calls are incredibly dull. They don't let you dial into them for the most part. So it's those of us that are at the facility every day, once a week, usually on Wednesday, we'll huddle around a speakerphone, and the PR directors will connect on a phone, and then they'll put the other coach on a speaker. And as you said, 7 to 10 minutes. Hey, what'd you see from the Raiders last week? What was it like for Urban Meyer? Hey, great first week, huh? Trevor Lawrence showed some good and some bad. What'd you think? I mean, they're absolutely boring and dull. Nothing ever comes out of them. We used to do them all the time at the facility in Oakland, Alameda, I guess you should say. Last year, they actually did let you dial into them because, obviously everybody couldn't be around there all the time, so you could dial in. And then this year, we were told they were no longer happening. The opposing coach conference calls aren't going to happen anymore.
For any team ever?
For any team. That's what we were told. I don't know if it's an official NFL rule, but I know like last week there was like, all right, we're not going to have a Harbaugh one. This week we're not going to have Tomlin. Now, it was my understanding that if we all like really, really were like, hey, we really want this guy, then they could try to work something out. Or try to dial you into like the other team's press conference and ask a question or something. Like try to figure out a way for you to get your questions, but that the actual regular conference calls weren't going to happen anymore. And then this blew up, which my take on, I don't know if they got the Giants, if they did the Giants last week or not.
They must have. They had to have, because otherwise this would have been an issue last week.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't know if it would be, because I will tell you right now, if the Raiders had the same schedule as the Broncos, if they're like, hey, we're not getting Giants, we would have been like, all right, cool. And then this week would have been like, yeah, we really want Urban Meyer.
But this was the first they had heard of it. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
they're throwing it, they would have been like, oh, because right now they're saying, the Denver media is saying, oh my God, they're refusing to make him available. And the new policy is it's up to the teams whether or not to make somebody available. You in Las Vegas have been told it's just not going to happen at all, right? Well, to the Broncos,
unless we want it, which is what I'm saying. I'm telling you how it probably would have worked. Last week, they probably would have walked into the media room in here in Las Vegas, in Henderson, and they would have said, hey, do you guys want to do a conference call with, Buffoon from New York? And we probably would have said, like, no, we're good. We probably don't need it. And then this week they would have said, like, hey, did you guys want to do one with Urban? Yeah, we do. They're not going to do it. And they would have been like, whoa, what? You're not going to do one? I think it's possible that happened. It's also possible they got the Giants coach. Maybe they just said, okay, we'll go ahead, we'll do it. And they got Judge. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it came up, but I do know that we are no longer doing them. We're no longer getting them unless we really want to fight for somebody each week, and then they'll try to figure out a way to do it, is my understanding of how it's going to go. So this, to me, it's no longer a regular part of the media week. But if the Raiders would have been playing the Jaguars, we would have made a big stink about it. Like, what the hell? Why don't we get Urban Meyer on the week that he's thinking about potentially going to USC, or at least the rumors are out there that he's going to USC. So this would have been the first week. It would have been an issue for the Raiders. We'll see. If there's a big story with the Raiders and an opposing coach, and we try to get him and we don't get him, then maybe we'll probably raise hell on Twitter too. Very just. I want to go hang out at Steve's house now. It's a great yard.
Yes, it looks awesome. The view is beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so Dan, tell us what happened to your woeful Denver Broncos. I thought they were terrible.
Well, they're going to be 3-0, that's for sure, especially when they run into your Jets. I had no idea. I really, I don't watch the Giants. I had no idea Daniel Jones is that terrible.
Danny Dime.
I mean,
baby hands.
The notion that they were trading away picks because they were set at quarterback in the draft last year. Good God. He's terrible. Like, he's bad. And also, this model's not sustainable. In order to kind of make this thing go, Vic Fangio had to go for 4 fourth downs and convert. Now, Bridgewater looked fantastic. He really did. The defense struggled against that Giants offense at times, but then Jones would fumble, and then they turned it over on 4th down, when they should be punching it in. So it wasn't a perfect game, but the Giants just kind of imploded. Of the Broncos' first 3 games, this was the only one I expected to be tough at all. So I expect them to be 3-0. Then you run into a Ravens team. I don't think the Ravens are really looking to drop any games to teams like the Broncos now. Do you guys, after what happened on Monday night? I don't think so. Then they got to play the Steelers. I mean, the Broncos' schedule gets a lot tougher after. And by the way, I don't know. Do you think the Raiders are quaking in their boots? The Raiders look to be, I don't know yet. I think the Raiders might get tougher as the season goes on. I think that might develop a little bit more.
They have some offensive line issues between injuries and inexperience. I'll tell you this on Denver. I am taking the Jaguars plus the 6.
What? You're taking them
I,
plus. Okay.
And I think they'll win the game.
You think the Jaguars will win the game?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not veering from my preseason stance on the Broncos because they beat the Giants. Giants suck. Giants are a 5 or 6 win team. Who cares?
Okay. The Jaguars.
It's not about beating them. It's about how they played.
It's the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jaguars plus the 6 too. I think the Broncos win by 3. I think the Broncos win by 3 or 4.
Okay. Do yourselves a favor.
Oh no, here we go.
Don't. Listen, nobody's harder on the Broncos in the world than me. They're going to beat the Jaguars. Do you understand that?
By the way, I love. I've seen this number. Mayor put this up. I want to look at the 22-3 ATS and see how many times Bridgewater was favored by 6 on the road.
Yeah,
I'm guessing not one time in the 25, maybe once.
You guys can mess with the point spread all you want. You can have your fun with that. Whatever.
What do we do?
They're gonna beat. That's
what the point spread. It's almost a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? You and I were doing this podcast one time, and you were like looking. You're like all nervous about this or that. I'm like, why do you even have to watch the game? Don't you just win automatically? I mean, that's what you do, right? Like, what are you nervous about, Steve?
Nervous about what? What are you talking about?
You were watching some basketball game, some college basketball game. Like, don't you just when you get a ticket from the counter, don't you just put it in your pocket and count that as easy money?
You sweat it out all the time. Come on now.
Why? Why would you sweat it out? That's what you do.
We're lucky if we go 57, 58% would be unbelievable.
Why? That's what you do for a living, man.
If I bet into the right numbers more often than not, consistently, I am going to be a winner. And the Broncos are overrated after week 1. They ran into a Giants team that was not ready to play. So
to beat a team like that on the road, you got to give them credit. I don't give them too much credit. Over the course of the season, the Broncos are not going to be a winning team. They're going to be 3-0. I'll guarantee you that. They're going to beat the Jaguars. I'll guarantee you that. We can have a bet that I'll be in town next week. One of us can pay off the bet then. So whatever you want to bet.
The Broncos do have a trend in their favor from week 1 carrying over.
Which is what?
It's my own stat that I'm keeping. But on Sundays this season, it's the 2 primetime games. It's 0-2. On Sundays this season, if you have a black quarterback against a white quarterback, black quarterback 7-0.
Yep.
Yeah,
7-0.
And I'll tell you, Bridgewater did look really good, and
really good. I think he was number 2. Pro Football Focus. I think he was number 2 of the week.
And if Hamler didn't drop a ball like his job is, like John Elway drafting, wide receivers who lead the nation in drops and doesn't expect them to drop balls when they get in the pros for some reason. John Elway, I wonder why he did that. But he would have been the best quarterback in the league, that week, maybe. But they're going to handle the Jaguars. The Jaguars are bad.
PFF, you get full credit for the throw. It doesn't matter if it's caught or not.
Okay, whatever. I'm talking about in reality.
Well, this is reality.
No, PFF is not reality. What are you talking about?
It's
a bunch of nerds. It's a bunch of nerds that don't get laid, sitting around in a room picking stuff up.
This is the problem.
Brady, I said 0-2 in primetime games, Brady. So it was Monday and Sunday, or Lamar lost and Dak lost on Monday and Thursday. This is what I wanted to battle with John Gruden about last week, which really drove me nuts. And if we actually got to sit down and talk instead of having, these group sessions, I would really go off on him, because he said last week he was ranting about Pro Football Focus, and he said, when Cliff Branch was around, you didn't have Pro Football Focus saying, he only got 50 catches, blah blah, and he's like, it's just football people knowing football things, and Cliff Branch, and I said, that's exactly what Pro Football Focus does, where everybody last year was like, well, Henry Ruggs only has 30 catches. And Pro Football Focus said, hold on, he's actually been very good because of what he's done in moving defenders around the field and occupying safeties, dropping safeties out. And he's been much better than the stats would indicate. And that's what John Gruden doesn't get, that stats are fucking stupid and juvenile. And actual analytics and Pro Football Focus scouting of every single player is actual reality of how players are playing. So that's the.
How about the?
Understand. How about except for I do understand when they rate the Broncos' offensive line, they overrate the Broncos' offensive line, and then my eyeballs go, they're crap, and Pro Football Focus has overrated them with all their analytics and BS. So my mind and my eyeballs tell me, nerds not getting laid in your equations.
Oh my God, you guys are simpletons.
Yeah.
Stop.
Their offensive line's great.
The easiest comeback to Gruden talking about. If he actually said it's non-football players. Like, John, did Bruce Gradkowski play for you or not? Because he's on the staff at Pro Football Focus.
Right, it's all football.
Is he a football player? Does it have to be all NFL players? I don't know. Eric Eager, who's one of the top guys there, was he was a Division II tight end. They have football people there. It might, it's not every guy there played at a high level of football, but cut it out.
Yeah, and then and that's why we need things like Pro Football Focus. To Dan's point, I'm not saying that you're wrong on this, but there are times when you're watching a game and you're like, that lineman just sucked. He just didn't even do what he's supposed to do. And then what you do is you watch the tape the next day and you're like, oh, actually on this play he did what he was supposed to do. It was the 2 guys next to him that completely fucked up. So that's where their expertise and their real greatness comes in. It happens to me all the time where I freak out on a play and I'm like, what the hell is that guy doing? And I go back and watch the tape. I'm like, oh, okay, I see. His 2 line mates fucked up and he was the only one that did it right. So I think that's where it comes in. And by the way, Bridgewater, it looks like, was 4th rated.
Why'd you lie to me?
I just looked it up. You
said he was number 2 You lied.
I thought he was. I went and looked it
up.
Why
would you lie?
Well,
why would you lie to us? I don't understand. You said 2 is 4. That wasn't the truth.
I saw a great line just a couple minutes ago. Adam started hinting at this today because some of the Cowboys injuries are starting to mount up now. and their offensive line is beat up. Lyle Collins has his suspension, and this is a good line with the Chargers going against the Cowboys. And Adam mentioned on the show that the Chargers line just had a kick-ass day in game number 1 against football team, especially Rashawn Slater, the rookie, was a top 5 rookie, graded out really well. Someone just wrote, PFF credited Washington with 5 pressures on Justin Herbert in 49 dropbacks last week, and they have the Monstars on their defensive line. If Gregory or Lawrence is unavailable Sunday, I'm imagining Herbert having several opportunities where he's got a chance at 6 or 8 second plays, which is terrifying. Yeah. So I didn't read that well. But
he's going to be able to take a nap in the pocket. They played unbelievably well. It was insane. And Slater.
I'm curious, how did Herbert rate? How's he on the list? Because I was watching the game and I actually thought he didn't throw the ball as well as everyone was saying. Yeah, I thought he's got a goddamn rocket arm, but he was a little off target. And I had a lot of appreciation on Sunday for Keenan Allen and how he snatches everything. He actually saved him a couple times on balls that were thrown on the wrong side. But I mean, bottom line, the ability for Herbert to get the ball anywhere on the field is insane.
Yeah, he was actually 5th.
Okay, so he had a good week.
Sure, I'm actually looking at it now. I wasn't doing it off memory.
Oh God, Dan, I think if you look at it more and more and more, I think you'll have an.
It's a tool. All I'm saying, it's not infallible. That's all.
It's one group, watching a lot of plays and all the plays, and they come up with conclusions. Doesn't mean they're right on everything. Doesn't mean they're right long term.
Also, I'll make this point about PFF, which I've made to people in the Raiders organization, and then they just kind of back off because they're, a lot of people behind the scenes will say, fucking PFF, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, you subscribe to PFF's numbers, don't you? You get their pro subscription, don't you? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we do.
Abram and Merrick, right? Mixed bag.
Yeah.
Johnny Abram actually was rated pretty well.
Really well, because they actually played him in the right spot, right? I mean, that's what we've been talking about. And by the way, very interesting that Jonathan Abram was graded as a linebacker because that's where he was playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was lining up in the line in the box almost every single play.
Yep.
So he was actually the 30th best linebacker in the entire league. There's over 100 that are scored. That's after last year. He was, by the way, the worst ranked safety in the entire league.
Yes.
And so moving, and we talked about this all summer, like in addition to just the different system, the fact that Abram is actually going to be in a position that's going to be conducive to his skill set is so much of a transformation for the defense. You're not going to ask him to go cover anybody. You're going to ask him to just go hit people, which is what he can do. When you ask him to cover, he's going to be a disaster, as he was last year, as they saw. So lining him up in the box and letting him play there is far smarter, and the grade showed that after 1 week. Again, it's 1 week, long way to go, but playing in the box has really helped him. And I thought Trayvon Merrick. Now, the Raiders' offensive line is not going to want to talk about Pro Football Focus this week.
That was good.
It was not good.
Well, it's funny here in Denver is, the Raiders got progressively better as the game went on, right? The Raiders looked bad in the first half, and they got better and better.
Derek Carr didn't look great in the first half, and then he was spectacular second half and overtime.
And then then they beat the Ravens, right? Like, it was a phenomenal game, a great game. And kind of the hacks here are like, the Raiders are hands down the worst team in the AFC West. Oh, okay. All righty.
We'll see.
It's going to be really weird because I think their offense is going to struggle at times this season because their offensive line right now is in shambles. But
is it going to get better or not?
It's hard to say. Now, a lot of new faces. New right guard.
Their left tackle is extremely good and started off the season even better than last year. So they're set at left tackle, and he's young. Left guard and right guard both out. Center and right tackle were both making their first start as true starters, like that they have the position. and both were the lowest ranked player at their respective position this week, which is not good.
Remember how I got all excited about Nick Martin signing? So we'll see if that's a valuable backup signing, just if Andre James really craps the bed.
Yeah. And we'll see. They finally got some receivers involved late in the game, Ruggs and Edwards. Edwards, I think, is going to be great. Ruggs is going to be a big play guy.
Is he? Jeez.
Yeah.
He finally started.
Where is that guy at?
Completely disappeared, and then all of a sudden catches a 40-yarder downfield. Like that's going to be what he is. But I think Edwards is going to be the far better actual receiver. And then obviously Darren Waller is great. The running back situation is good when Jacobs will stay on the field. But the line is going to struggle, and it's all going to be how good can the defense get. We thought maybe they'd have to get up to like 23, 24, or maybe they have to get up to like 16, 17 in the league to take a step forward. But they look much better. Now, again,
Adam,
they give 27 points.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you mention Kyler Murray freaking raving about Rodney Hudson?
I mean, it's just what a slap in the face, the Raiders, man. Now, I'll defend the Raiders on that, though.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
you said it. You said it last year.
Yeah, salary cap jumped down. It dropped significantly, and Rodney Hudson is still a very good player. Listen, everyone in the organization would rather have Rodney Hudson playing center right now. Like, there's no question about that. But it's the reality of the situation. You can't pay everyone, and you have to move on from guys that are getting a lot of money sometimes in order to make room for players in other places. So what you don't want to do is make the move a year late. You don't want to keep him around for an extra year, and then he significantly declines because of age, and now you're stuck paying his contract. So you got rid of two high-priced players. You could use them, and they know they could use them. It's not like they said, these guys suck now. It's like, hey, these guys have a lot of money. They're making a lot of money, and they're getting older. We have to try to strike before they're done. And that's what they try to do. It hasn't worked out yet, but you got to give these guys a chance to develop.
Want to talk more betting, Dan? Or you're backing down.
I'm fine, man. I want to talk about how the Jaguars are going to beat the Broncos straight up. Jesus Christ.
+6.
Are we going to make our bet?
I'll bet them. I'm going to bet them
bet on that.
I'm going to bet them +6, and then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line.
What's our bet? Are we going golfing or what?
I don't know. Maybe just some barbecue food here.
All
right.
What's the best barbecue place out there?
I don't know. What does everyone think? I mean, Adam and I like rolling smoke. I've heard
some comments. Let's see some comments. Where's Steve buying me barbecue next week? Broncos straight up against the Jaguars. I'll take the Broncos.
I like John Mulls. I think it's really good. So,
Adam, you getting in on this action?
What's that?
You're not going to pick the Jags to win.
Why not? I thought you said you were.
And I'm also.
I think the Broncos win the game, but the Jaguars cover. All we care about is covering.
No, Cofield's picking straight up.
I said they can win straight up, so it's not going to be my big bet, But I think they can win the game. You guys get too emotional, man. Bottom of the top of the league is not that far apart. Christ,
in this case, in week 2 with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, it is
caretaker quarterback with a coach who's bottom 7 in the league. So what? He had one good game. Their defense is good, not great. Calm down.
What are you talking about? All I hear is Vic Fangio is one of the greatest defensive coordinators of our time.
He is a good defensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach.
There's a suggestion to take Dan to Wands. I know Willie just got his first Wands experience this weekend. I'm interested to see what
we could do Wands.
His review is.
All right. I'm not married to barbecue.
No, by the way, guess who I saw the other night?
Juan?
No, your guy Dan. Your guy Dan that you lectured for an hour and a half the last time we saw him. You met him for the first time.
The Markness.
Mark Moore. You doesn't remember that's because you were drinking Triple Jackson freaking.
Oh yeah. Now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. He got a job.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's good. What's he doing? Is it in the prison infirmary or what? No.
Oh, hey.
He's a bartender.
That's probably all right.
Oh boy, I think I'm going to go see him in a little bit. He starts up in 2 hours. He works overnights. He's on the grave shift.
Well, God bless him.
Do I have to make that drive?
Yeah. I mean, I actually can. I won't say the place. I actually can walk to his place. So might be some long nights with the Markness. Except my Thursday mornings are a little busy because I have a.
Why don't we say the name and shout him out? Get some people out there.
He is working for the Dottie's chain. So they have a lot of different places like Lucky Sevens and.
Oh, you don't want to say where it is because you just said it's in walking distance of your house, and then people can figure out where you live.
Yeah,
well, I also think he can bounce around. So,
okay.
I don't know that he's staying there forever. Yeah, I've heard Jesse Ray's is pretty good. Yeah. Mark is not a prostitute in Pahrump. No,
not yet. He's not ruling anything out. Nothing's off the table.
I actually think Bourbon Street would be because Mark is just starting up as a bartender. I think Bourbon Street would be a great place for him to go.
Oh yeah, if they actually cared about making money.
And then, by the way, Brady nailed. I don't know if you know the Dottie chain. I don't even know if they have them in Denver. They're slot halls, and they're basically been buying up they've got 6 different brands.
Slot halls? No, we don't have slot halls in Denver.
I don't know. I thought. Well, I know they're in Oregon. I know Dottie's is big in Oregon, but anyway,
we don't have slot machines in Denver.
I don't know what anyone has anymore. Everyone's got.
No, we don't have slot machines in Denver.
You have sports gambling there. It's freaking.
No, we don't. We don't have sports gambling in Denver.
Yes,
you don't.
We have on your app. You can't just go into a sports book in the middle of town. I don't think.
The Westgate property is. I mean, it's not in Denver proper, but it's definitely not far.
Well, it's in the mountains.
Yeah.
Stop.
It's not Denver. We have morals here. It's very respectable here. We're very respectable.
But Brady,
one of my favorite strip clubs in America is there. It's not that moral.
What club is that?
Shout out Shotgun Willie's.
Yeah. You know what's funny? That it's not in Denver.
Cherry Creek,
that's in a town. You'll find this interesting, Steve, because we did a remote there. It's in a town called Glendale, which only has 3 houses. And then also a set of, I think, twin high-rise condos. That's the entirety of the town, which is completely funded by 3 strip clubs. The taxes off these 3 strip clubs. And then they have all this money. They said, well, what are we going to do with all this money? Let's build a rugby stadium. So they have this world-class rugby stadium. So they have this Churchill Cup where all these international rugby stars come in and play. This entire town thrives off of the strip club money, the taxes.
I'm proud of them.
Yeah. Good. There's a Wiener Schnitzel corn dog, the corn dog, play. I mean, there's very little in this town. The mayor of the town, he's like, I tried to buy one of the 3 houses. I couldn't afford it. So he lives in the condos. It's a very fascinating place. Adam's been there.
What are you talking about?
There's also a dispensary.
Is there a dispensary there now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Shotgun Willie's is a strip club / dispensary.
Oh, they sell weed there now.
In your very moral town of.
It's not Denver. That's Glendale.
Denver.
It's not Denver. It's the city of Glendale. I'm telling you. It's about a 4-block town or whatever, maybe 5 or 6 blocks.
Dude, I just looked at where your casinos are 35 miles from the center of Denver. What are you talking about?
They're in the mountains. They're in Blackhawk.
It's 35 miles. It's 35 miles. So exactly. I just looked it up, Raphael.
Yeah, they're in Blackhawk. You have to go on the Central City Expressway and stuff. It used to take forever to get there because you had to go this winding road, and then they built Central City. Ask Chad Andrus. Until they built that expressway, it took forever to get there.
It's US 6. I like that.
So the very moral people of Denver were like, it's taking us too long to get to the casino. Build an expressway.
Yeah. Let's build an expressway to the casino.
Well, yeah, no, because they said, well, we didn't want casinos in town. We don't want to be Las Vegas or Pahrump. So they put them in these mountain towns, but they didn't have the infrastructure for them. And so it really was dangerous because people would get liquored up and they're driving these winding roads back at night. So then they built the expressway.
So they can drunkenly drive an expressway.
But it's big, wide, at least express lanes and stuff. Yeah.
Highway to hell.
And forever it was like $5 and $10 tables. It was kind of lame. And they eventually raised the limits, and you couldn't go play poker there because it was and I don't know if it's still that way now, but you'd go and it was like playing against teams because everybody knew each other. Like even the dealers would get off or take their breaks and they go sit and play. Like, dude, you were just dealing at the other table like 5 minutes ago. Now I got to play against you too. Like, what's going on? You know? So yeah.
Adam, this is true, right? What Jay Lawrence said.
Oh yeah,
Denver has more people smoking weed in public than Vegas.
The 16th Street Mall. Come on, all day,
anywhere. Yeah. Well, of course, people. That's what Denver does. Yeah, of course.
I don't know the answer to this one. I thought the answer was no. That they're not gonna. You can't crossfade. Yeah, they're gonna the weed. I mean, there might be a bar. You know, you what is it? Planet 13. You could go to Planet 13, smoke weed, and then walk around the corner to what used to be Sunny Saloon, is now the Star Bar. I think that's what it's called. You know, the Chinese place that was connected to Sunny Saloon. I think it's all now the Star Bar. I think that's what it's called.
Is it the one from San Diego? Did they franchise
no,
it? Or is it
it's different. I don't know. I drove by it today. Actually, I have to drive down to UNLV often, and I got lost today. I was in the wrong lane. I had to do an illegal U-turn. I was very disappointed this morning. So. I will give Adam credit. I don't know how he does all the morning stuff and then all the driving around town. So,
what morning stuff?
He's got to cover the Raiders pretty much every morning, and they push back their practices now a little later. But I mean, the month of August was ridiculous. First of all, you had a test every 2 weeks, so the tests are between what at the time, Adam, were they 6 and 6:30 or 6:30 and 7?
6:37.
Yeah, and then you have to get there every day at 7:30, and then they don't speak to the media until like 9:30, 9:45. So annoying.
Yeah. Sucked.
What time do you get up, Cofield?
Most days no later than 8:30, but I've been going down to UNLV practice more and more. So the portion of practice you can watch is usually around 8:25. So I'd have to leave here like 7:45, 7:50. So it's always something to do, Dan. Very busy.
Yes, that's right. You are.
Very well, not really. It's still a very easy job. Well, whatever. I don't want to go on the tangent. I've started to see the emergence of some Vegas media people pissing and moaning about long days, and I'm like, folks, you got to stop, man. It's like put it in perspective. Like, yeah, first of all, a ton of media people got fired, so shut the hell up. And secondly, people who have real jobs don't want to hear that you have to work a long day. Fuck off. Willie, practice. Yeah, Tate was one of 3 guys throwing the ball a lot today. So, well, but I always say, all I get to see are drills. It means nothing because they kick us out and then they really start practicing. So for all I know, and this isn't what Arroyo said tonight on the coach's show, but for all I know, Doug Brumfield could have been the number 1 quarterback the entire time. So I don't think that's the case. But
I just like making the sound effect anytime you say that Tate Martell was doing it.
I know. I can't stop. Well, there is a certain portion of the internet who hate Tate Martell. So if they see anything,
sure.
Well, they love the negative stuff, but it's actually funny. When I noticed at Arizona State, it's so weird, isn't it? Like how internet fame can come to a guy, because he did make headlines, kind of talking trash, and he had some embarrassing incidents, but there were actually kids in the second row around the 50-yard line at Arizona State, and they're like, "That's Tate Martell," and I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." like getting ready to yell at him, like, "Jeez."
Hey, look, it's their 7th-string quarterback. Let's heckle him.
Fans are funny when you're down on the field too. Rex Goosen is the long snapper for UNLV, and he got fucking decked in the second half. I didn't see the play, but it sounded like it was a freaking dirty play, and his shoulder got all jacked up, and he was like cursing to himself and just walking all by himself on the one side of the sideline, back and forth. And some asshole like 8 rows up is like, "Put 52 in. He looks like he's ready." I'm like, I don't think he can breathe, you motherfucker. Like, relax. Like the mocking they're up like 37-10. Like, relax. So ridiculous.
Sounds like some people were out on Mill Ave before the game.
I will say, and I think I said it on the air. Dan, have you been down to Tempe to an Arizona State game or Cardinals for at Sun Devil Stadium?
Oh, dude. Oh,
and that place, I think Herm Edwards is doing a pretty solid job, and they're going to have a good year this year, but there's no reason for that place to ever have a bad football team. It's such a cool spot. You know, I'm going to close on this. Petro and I had a long argument last night, and I know a lot of people here were watching. Petro was seriously trying to make the case that USC is not all it's cracked up to be as a job, and it's a hard place to recruit to.
Come on, man.
I was flabbergasted. And he had these Midwest dill holes behind him who were like, he was trying to pitch that it's a city school and not all country kids want to go to a city school. And I'm like, dude, it is unbelievable there. The beach is like, I mean, it's probably 11 miles away. It might take you 45 minutes, but I'm like, you bring a kid to that campus or UCLA.
Does he remember Matt Leinart? Matt Leinart was begging to stay. He was like, why would I leave?
Why would I?
I'm taking like 3 credits. I'm hanging out. I'm dating models. I'm taking dance, right? And doing nothing. I'm a celebrity in LA, basically just being a star and dating models and doing. No, I never want to leave. Thank you. The NFL can wait. That was Matt Leinart. You had to drag him away from USC. What are you kidding me?
There's
Get
a
out of here.
Chick-fil-A on campus.
Yeah.
Probably not the number one reason kids go there, but
you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not hard. You just got to be. But I did hear this. Our morning show was talking about, which I did not agree with, because they were talking about, you could just throw Eric Bieniemy, or actually they were talking about Deion Sanders. You don't have to be a good coach to win in college. You just have to relate to the kids and recruit.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's like, no, you have to be able to coach too. You have to be, it's helpful if you can relate to kids. But, they're saying like, is Pete Carroll really a good coach? Or I think they're laying out somebody else. No, these guys.
He's really a good coach.
No, he's just a young guy that motivates people. Young, he's not young, like enthusiastic guy. He doesn't do the X's and O's. Like, okay.
So give me the guy in college football now who is just rah-rah guy and can recruit. Who is it? Seriously, let's
say Orgeron. Let's say Orgeron. I guess would be their their.
It looks like it might be a flash in the pan because of the quarterback and some of the talent, right? That was on.
He did a good job at USC when he was interim.
No, he didn't.
What do you mean? No, he didn't.
He did. He didn't do. Well, he didn't do a good enough job to freaking convince him. I mean, I think Orgeron actually is the example you're talking about. He hit it with a quarterback and he had some good receivers, but can you sustain that for 10 years? I don't know that he's going to be able to.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. I really like him.
Who else is the rah-rah guy? It's just like, your kids and you're going to win. Like, okay, you think?
I mean, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with that premise.
Right.
I mean, Bobby Bowden was a charming Southern guy. I don't know if he was ever a big, X's and O's guy.
But Dan, I think the point is that as time went along, Bobby Bowden, it fell apart. Bobby Bowden was in his prime until the late 90s. Things have changed so much now that the competition in the coaching ranks and the work that's put in and the size of the staffs, you have to be more than you have to get the talent. Obviously, you have to be a big time recruiter, but just being a recruiter, like to me, Ed Orgeron, he's a recruiter. He's an assistant coach. So we'll see how it turns out here, but eventually they're gonna turn on him and he's gonna be gone. And
hey man, nobody knows it more than me, dude. Miami's had top 5 to 10 class for the last 15 years in a row every year. Definitely top 20. They've had lots of top 3 classes and 5 classes. They haven't developed players worth a lick. They have talent out the rear. They have not had a coach that could develop players. They haven't had competent coaching, and they even brought in Mark Richt, and he had talent. And we heard about the great classes he was bringing in, and they have not won there since basically I lived in Vegas, or since those recruiting classes, right? So, no, you have to be able to develop the talent. Period. I don't want to hear about, you can just hire Deion Sanders and kids will just flock to him and they'll just roll out national championships. No, but yes, can you win at USC? Yes, you can. You're playing in a conference with little competition, because somebody was saying I don't know what the quote was. It was a Bruce Feldman thing today that says, right now, OU is one of the best jobs in college football because there's no competition in the Big 12.
Right.
But it's not going to be one of the best jobs in college football soon. 4 years from now, it's going to be one of the worst because you're going to be facing intense competition. So it was like, what are the best jobs in college football? USC, it's got to be one of them because there's talent all over the place, incredible resources, and you can win there. And if you do, you're in the playoffs.
Yep, you can win in the Pac-12. You don't have to go through 9 teams.
Yep.
But by the way, to Brady's point, is that how you say that phrase?
What?
The phrase on this comment?
Big rah-rah guy? Yeah, rah-rah.
That's how you say it, right?
What's he
rah-rah?
Hunter Renfrow today on 2 occasions said he's not a big rah-rah-ree guy.
No, that's...
He threw the re on the end?
What is that? No, I don't know what that means.
Like, what does that mean?
Oh.
Where's he from? What
Clemson thing?
Clemson? Yeah. What region does he hail from? Yeah.
From South Carolina.
Yeah.
From the beach, like Myrtle Beach area.
Well, he went to Clemson though, right?
Yeah. Rah-rah-ree.
That's a Myrtle Beach thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. I was confused.
Dan, you got some shifts coming up? What's going on?
Well, I'm spokespersoning for the Denver Barbecue Festival coming up this weekend, although I am doing the Dan Jacobs Show on Saturday. But yeah, I'm heading out to the Pitmaster reception on Thursday, doing the show on Saturday, picking out the new flooring that the puppy for the wife and I going to Floor and Decor. What's they call it? Floor and Decor?
No carpet.
Yeah.
No
What's
carpet.
that?
No carpet.
We're not going carpet. We're going to probably engineered flooring or whatever.
Yep.
Scratch resistant, waterproof. Then we're heading down to VIP passes to the Denver Barbecue Festival Saturday.
Wow,
and then I'm heading to Vegas next week for Dolphins Raiders. I want to check out these
for UFC.
Are you gonna get me in? Is that Saturday night or what?
Saturday night UFC.
All right, get me in.
Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see. Get me. We'll see.
Tomorrow we've got Silver Sevens for Thursday Night Football. 77-cent beers with the Bud Light, McUltra. Sunday morning, Adam Hill is hosting. I'm not sure who's hosting with him yet, but he'll be at the Westgate. So we do our Sunday morning football preview show, 8:00 in the morning, and then mark it down. Twin Peaks was a lot of fun last week. So
I heard they have scenic views there.
They do. I'm glad you're on board on this one. Cheap beers, good eats, raucous atmosphere. I enjoyed myself.
Can I go hot take on the best barbecue main dish?
Best bar. Okay.
Because I love pulled pork. Obviously, brisket is fantastic. But if they've got like the good barbecue turkey on the menu,
wow, upset. That was out of left field.
That's my choice.
Smoked turkey you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had, when I had the barbecue company, I have a turkey. I've shared this with you guys before, how to do it. That we have that turkey hack. Yeah, to Memorial. We have them here, Twin Peaks. As I'm doing this motion, they put the Twin Peaks thing on. But sure. We have a turkey hack where you get the big turkey ball, the deli slicer that Steve has. The deli sliced turkey, you just rub that in olive oil and you put your seasoning on it and you smoke that and you slice it. It's super easy. Some people, when we would do catering, would prefer that over brisket, which was insulting to me, but they did. They would go crazy for it. That smoked turkey.
There's a lot of bad brisket out there though, so you got to be careful.
Not mine.
I know.
There's a lot. There's a lot
of
most brisket. Most brisket
is overcooked. Yep, most is overcooked, and that's why I think ribs. I guess people can fuck up ribs, but I think ribs are probably the safest option. What?
I just got reminded of something.
What's that?
We have a new revelation in the Mike Ramala food world.
Oh no!
So he was explaining last night to a group of people at the Raiders game or Monday night that he will not eat chicken wings or legs or thighs because he just finds them too functional. And
Like you get freaked out by it.
yeah, he's like, he would have like, and he won't obviously eat anything with bones on it, so he'd have to have like sliced chicken breast or whatever. But they had, yeah, they actually had like a turkey or chicken thighs.
Derek comes in with a what the fuck?
Yeah, they had like a chicken thighs meal that was there, and everybody was loving it. Like, I need the funk parts of the chicken. He said it's too weird.
What about a gizzard? Is that gizzard too functional?
Can you imagine? Like, would he have? Does he ever get like Does he ever get the freaking roasted chicken from a Costco or Smith's? It would freak him out.
No chance.
Pulling it apart.
No chance. Yeah, there's no chance that would happen. But he also has never had lasagna, as we know. So he just said there's too much going on.
And there's too much going on. It's unbelievable.
Who is this guy? Guy?
He's a tremendous writer, despicable human being. No, he's great, but he eats like a 4-year-old. He eats basically chicken nuggets every day, because he doesn't eat condiments, no condiments of any kind, and he like basically nothing with taste. But yeah, he won't eat anything that has like a function on an animal. So
a breast has function.
Well, sure.
It's a mammary gland. It feeds the younglings.
Well, don't
and also it arouses the mates sometimes.
I don't think that's true. He's gonna reduce. I think he's gonna even reduce.
Steve, have you ever been aroused by a breast before?
Not
chicken breast for sure.
Okay. We on the air one day, Dan, we made him eat a taco because he had never tried one before.
Oh yeah.
And his response
nothing functional taco.
No, he said his response was, he's like, I understand the appeal. It's not for me.
I understand the appeal.
It was the same thing he said about syrup when we made him try it for the first time.
Dan, you'd be blown away by the conversations. It's unreal.
Is he like Asperger's?
How old is Mike now? Like 35?
Mike's 35-ish.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's a normal person.
Is he like Asperger's or something? Or
I don't know. I don't think so. He just.
I don't think so.
There's like a medical name for it. I know there was like a big story written about him in some magazine about like people that eat like him. That basically like a 4 or 5-year-old.
Like the people that eat their pillows or whatever, or that eat. Those shows, like those shows on like Lifetime, or Oprah, help me, I eat my pillow, or I can't stop eating toilet paper. Have you seen those?
Yeah, and then people scared of cotton balls. That freaks me out too.
Yeah.
Those are good.
I don't know where we're going. I think we can continue this tomorrow on the show, Friday on the show, and also
I think it's great. I think it's great podcasting.
Koken will flip out if I bring out any of this stuff, so I'll be careful. So we appreciate you guys watching tonight. We're back tomorrow, 9:00. Koken, and hopefully we're going to get Willie on, or we'll get one of the guys on, do our college football and NFL leans and likes. And my God, I better not bring up the Jaguars. Get my head ripped off. We'll find out tomorrow if the real